But we are live. Yes, we are. Now I see that we are recording. I do not know, are we on Facebook Live too? So we are all set. We are good to go. It looks a little different, but what the hell, right? It is Tuesday. It is Triumph Tuesday. And we know what that means. We're hoping that you're patting yourself on the back because you triumphed over something maybe from last week, from the weekend, even from yesterday. But we're excited today. Good morning, everyone. This is Carol Sue, AKA Naughty Boss, Lady Canna, published author with Two
Sisters. Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Janice, AKA Wellness Diva 4.0, still at 4.0. Not sure when we're going to go to 5.0, but I'm not going to push it. Anyway, today is Triumph Tuesday, and you may see that I'm back in the media room, North Haven, Connecticut. It's a bright, sunshiny day. We have, excuse me, an amazing guest on today. I think she's just so stinking cute. I mean, you know, what the heck? She's amazing. Her name is Laura Baumann. Oh, I know I'm going to mess up your name. Laura Baumann, and I do apologize for that. And we welcome you today to our podcast. And I just want to say a couple things about Laura. You know, being a mom with a young 6-year-old daughter, and she does live in Florida right now. She's from the Netherlands, and that's why she has that awesome kind of voice about her. She loves to help moms and mother entrepreneurs get on the yoga mat for self-care. She has a very short and effective yoga and meditation practices that help to release tension, overcome stress, who doesn't want to be overcome by stress, and feel aligned in body and mind. So without further, Laura, welcome. We're so excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much for that whole introduction. That's so sweet. And you got my name right. Thank you, Janice. And thank you, Carol, for having me here today.
You're welcome. Laura, can you tell me whereabouts in Florida you are at?
I'm in Southwest Florida. So in Fort Myers, it's by the Gulf of Mexico.
Yes, I understand that. And why are you in a sweatshirt? Hello, girlfriend. Florida, tank top, let's go.
Well, for Florida standards, we're having a little bit of a chilly morning, so I had to put on a sweater.
That is true. And I know a lot of people chat about that they consider this a chilly morning. And I'm like, no, it's not a chilly morning, but that's just because I'm from the north, and it is probably chilly for where you're used to that warmer weather. So tell our viewers and our audience a little bit about your background. It's so interesting and such a great, Jan did obviously an awesome job with your introduction, but imagining that you are that young mom and entrepreneur, kind of like, I always think as a juggler, because you are juggling yourself, your life, your family life, and you're helping other entrepreneurs juggle. So how did you kind of get into that?
Yeah, that's a good analogy. It feels like a constant juggling, and you're just trying to stay grounded, trying to keep all the balls in the air, you know. And yeah, actually, I just love to teach from my own experiences and what I learned. Like I'm not a master at this. I'm still figuring it out. You know, I'm not perfect, but I have found that yoga along my path, I've been doing it since my teens, that there's always a time in your life you can just apply it anywhere in your life, wherever you are, you know. And at the moment as a mom, yeah, it helps me a lot to get through the day and to stay grounded, you know, to balance out family and, you know, my yoga business. So yeah, to go a little bit deeper about my background, I started as a teenager. And back then I was in a ballet school. I was very serious about becoming a professional dancer. That was my dream. But it was a lot of, you know, it's like being a professional athlete. It's high pressure and physically, mentally. And so I found yoga, or my grandmother gave me a little book, and it had really nice, you know, with these stick figures, little, you know, stretches. But at the time I was really messed up with, you know, my body image. I had to be skinny, lose weight. So I was going, you know, yoga was for me like how to lose weight the fastest way possible. You know, what are the the best losing weight postures, and become flexible. And then, but once, and a lot of people who do yoga, first you start with a physical practice, and then you learn, about breathing and releasing stress, and it just feels good, after a yoga session. And then I dove a little bit deeper into meditation. So that I stopped dancing, but I continued with yoga, and it was always part of my morning routine. I always had to move my body. That was still in me. And so with yoga, it was a nice way to start my day, just, to feel a little bit calm and not so tense in my body. And then eventually I started teaching. This was still back in Europe, in Belgium. And my husband actually got my first teaching job at a local gym we're members of. They were looking for a yoga teacher, and he just told the manager, my wife is a yoga teacher. So, here you go. And talk about start before you're ready. I mean, I had my personal practice, and I felt strong about that, but teaching, I felt a little bit scared about it, but it was a really amazing experience. And then when I became a mom, I took a break. We moved to Florida. I was a full-time stay-at-home mom, and to make that switch to go back to work, not having family around and childcare, that was really rough. Like, you're always available as a mom, and now you're choosing to go back to work, but you're actually kind of starting your own business. That was tricky. And so out of that experience, I really felt like I want to help other moms. It's so important that we have something for ourselves, and also that we have our self-care, whatever that is, however that looks like, just that moment for yourself where you can recharge your batteries. It's really important. So you're not giving from an empty cup, but you're filling your own cup first.
That is amazing. And I've done a few classes myself. So I would be interested to see how you deal with someone like me who just laughs. Like, I cannot be serious doing it. The movement, the positions, I find like I'm a pretzel. And, then the giggles start happening. So I'm one of those. I've tried it a few times with some friends, and we're like, oh my God, I think we're going to get thrown out, because obviously people are meditating. It is serious. You're stretching, you're getting that good feeling, but then you have kind of like the class clown who just can't stop giggling.
Well, it's a good thing if you're having fun with it. That's
Yes.
really, that's the most important thing, right? And then the other thing is that, in my background, ballet is like a one size fits all. Like, you have to move your body in a very unnatural way to, look like that ideal picture. But yoga is not at all a one size fits all. It's, you make your own. And if you can't do a pose, just skip it, do what feels good.
Oh, that's a great idea, because maybe it was my instructor then, because she didn't mention that.
Well, if you're in a group class, I was teaching also my very first job in a gym. So you have all kinds of people, which is great. I learned the best lessons there. But you're dealing with all kinds of people, backgrounds, body awareness, where you even are in space, or physical awareness, like, here's my right arm. And it's different for everybody, and that's totally okay. But in a group class, it can be, for a teacher, sometimes hard to, accommodate everybody.
Sure.
And you can give different options and modifications. And but yeah, it's I always try to get that message across to my students, to listen to your body first before you listen to the teacher.
And I think that's such a great avenue to be able to say, hey, you know what? Not everyone can get their body in that position, because maybe you're just not limber in that yet. You haven't, been stretching all that time, or, again, that kind of awkward position where you might have somebody that might have an injury, or, it just kind of doesn't feel right. So I love the fact that you are giving different levels almost for, making sure that person still can have some success and learning about yoga, because everyone that I talk to absolutely loves it. Absolutely loves it. What do you think, Jan?
Well, I'd like to touch upon a few things that kind of piqued my interest when, Laura, when you were chatting about your transition from dance to yoga, and you mentioned something very significant, which I think a lot of women at some point in their lives go through: body image.
Mm.
And if you wouldn't mind, I'd love for you to kind of touch upon that a little bit, because I know for me, I had a body image before, excuse me, before I went through my wellness transformation. And although, you know, I lost a significant amount of weight, it was really the physiological and emotional aspect of my body image. So if you could just kind of take us back to that moment, I'd like to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. It's still such a big topic, you know, and I in our school we had to be, you know, they would weigh us every month, and you know, it was very strict with you know, being skinny, and I think especially for girls, that's just really unhealthy. And I think there's now more awareness about it. Back then we didn't really talk about it too much. But yeah, you know, like I was in my teens, so your body's developing, and I had hips, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hate my hips. And you know, you only see your body how you don't want it to be. You have this picture, or I had this picture of how I wanted to be, like extremely skinny and the perfect dancer figure, and it wasn't. And then food is the only way that you can really control yourself, so, or you know, control your weight and how you look. So I would diet extremely, and it was very unhealthy. I mean, it turned into an eating disorder. And but looking back, also it not just physically, because even after I was done dancing, I studied theater after that, and it was very movement based, and we had a lot of Eastern philosophy. We did meditations, and it was more about accepting what's happening in the moment, listening to your body and your impulses. And I had a really hard time with that, because I still struggled with how I looked and how I was supposed to look. And yeah, my yoga practice actually helped me move through that and heal from that. But I have to say, it's still like an ongoing process. It's not like I'm completely healed and perfect now. You know, I had my daughter, my body changed, and it's completely different. And well, not completely different, but it's different now. And to go through that process and appreciating my body for what it's able to do, and you know, just kind of shifting that mindset as well.
Yes, and I think that's a really big piece for a lot of women too. You know, depending on, you know, what generation you're in, whether you're a 20-year-old, 30-year-old, you know, 40-year-old, whatever it may be, someone in their 40s, actually, I think someone in their 30s is where they start to see some physical changes, but they're not totally embracing it to a certain degree. And then you get into your 40s, you're like, oh my God, I want that. And then you're in your 50s, I want that 25-year-old body again. And you realize that it's not just the physical transformation, it's our insides are working differently. Our metabolism is slower. Our bodies really have to be, I wouldn't say concerned, but we have to embrace kind of where our bodies are at. It doesn't mean that you can't still get fit. You can't still have that mindset of flexibility and positivity and knowing that, really embracing and loving ourselves for who we are, but really embracing the fact that our body does go through, the mindset goes through a physical change, but so doesn't the body. And sometimes to get back to that 25-year-old body, not only is physically impossible, you've got to change your mindset and accept that, you know what, I can't do the kind of workouts I did when I was in my 20s. So I'm going to love and embrace where I'm at now and maybe try and pivot into a new way. And I love the fact that yoga is timeless, meaning any age can do it. And with restrictions and or limitations and really embracing where your body is at that moment, any age can do it. So it's not, you know, I mean, I never say you never put limits on anything that you can do. You just kind of pivot around and just come up with a different way of doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing that I found too, which I think is very interesting, for myself going through this injury, my husband said to me last week as I was hobbling around, why do you do this to yourself? Like you're not 30 years old anymore. You're going to be 60. I'll be 60 next year, not this year. Okay.
Wow, you look amazing.
Thank you.
It's a number. It's a number.
It's a number. But the point I'm trying to make is he was right in the sense that, my mind is like, oh, all right, I broke my foot. Now I'm back at kickboxing and I can just go right to it.
Yeah.
I was, I went back for 2 weeks, but then I was sidelined for another week and a half. So that just kind of goes to show you that it's all about shifting in a way. And it's not that I can't do something, it's about listening to the cues that my body is telling me.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that makes so much sense, Jan, because again, it goes back to, if you're in your 20s or your 30s, your foot the recovery time may be much less. So I think the kind of the eye opener on that is, okay, I can't do that, but guess what? I can still work my upper body and I can still kind of work the opposite foot. I'm just not gonna, and maybe not, maybe I can't even do that because I can't put weight on the other foot. So what can I do with boxing that I love and still kind of be active in that and still feel good and embrace and validate kind of where I'm at. And I think women have a tendency, we don't have, we try to instill patience into our children, into our grandchildren, yet I find that a lot of women have a little patience for themselves to embrace where they're at. Like they feel like, they're behind all the time. They're behind the 8 ball. I've got to get fit quicker. I've got to diet quicker. I've got to get back in shape quicker and not just taking that time to slow down. Don't you think?
I definitely think so. And I'm sure Laura can attest to this. I think we're in that society now. Well, look at us right now. We're both of you are in Florida. I'm in Connecticut. We're on video through Zoom, through Facebook. So the technology, everything is instantaneous. And I think sometimes we forget it's okay to hit the pause button and see where we are at in our journey. And by the way, don't tell Gary I said he was right, because he'll just be like, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, I will.
It's not about our amazing guests. Got to throw some funnies in there every now and then. That's what we're all about. So, yeah. Laura, when you started yoga, I understand that's a pretty, and maybe I'm wrong, it's a pretty intense process to go through. I think it's about I want to say a 200-hour course.
Teacher training, yes. Yeah.
Wow. And is it okay if we ask where you took your training?
Yeah, for sure. I took it with Brett Larkin. It was an online training, and it was a really, really good experience, because I always thought I had to be able to stand on my head, which I can't. And I learned that it's okay to not be able to stand on your head, and you can still do other things that have the same, the inversion, the benefits, but much in a milder way or a different way. So that was a really, really good experience. And once again, you can do yoga at any point in your life, So there were people in there, all kinds of people, ages, backgrounds, and that was amazing.
That's so great, because there are some people that, maybe, there's an entrepreneur out there that, who maybe is just someone that's joined a group, but they would actually like to be an instructor as well. So I love the fact that that type of course will allow really anyone that just has the oomph to do it and wants to do it.
Yeah.
Make that available for them. That's awesome. What would you tell someone that is totally never been exposed to yoga? What would be one stretching tip that you would say, this is something that is going to enable you not only to introduce you to yoga, but will be something that is so beneficial to you in all aspects of your life? What would be that one stretch or move?
I think that's my all-time favorite, just a lateral, so side body stretch. And you can just do it right now. You can, with your right hand, you can hold on to your chair, or if you have like an armchair, just hold on to the chair. And then as you inhale, you raise your left arm up and really think of lengthening your spine. And then as you exhale, take a gentle side body stretch to your right. Yeah.
Wow, that feels,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to incorporate that with pickleball because
Let's balance it out. Let's do the other side too. So inhale, reach your other arm up and lengthen your spine, and exhale, take a stretch. Take a deep breath and release.
Wow, that feels amazing. I already feel looser already. How about the rest of our audience? I'm sure you feel looser in that. How would someone reach out to you? Because you're instructing. Are you at a live studio? Do you do it through Zoom? How would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I have different, I'm online, but also in person. So if you're in Florida, at the moment, I am teaching beach yoga classes. That's in Bonita Springs. You can find that on my Facebook page. So everything is under Laura Baumann, or Laura Baumann, LauraBaumann, yoga, yoga.com. That's my website. If you enter on Facebook, you'll find me there. And I have a YouTube channel, so you can just join my classes there.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. I think I'm going to sign up for some classes. I feel pretty good after doing that.
That would be probably a class I could do, because if I'm doing the giggles, I can always mute myself.
Oh, I can mute you now if you want.
I know that. I know you can. I can actually mute myself too.
Sure.
I love that you giggle. You know, it's the one thing that I used to take myself so seriously, you know, with the dancing and even with yoga. Like, I can't do this pose, and you know, and it's okay to just laugh at yourself and just have fun. You know, it's all about just the process, the journey, and being on your mat, breathing and stretching.
That's amazing. And I so agree with that. And I think part of any journey, any health and wellness journey, whether it has to do with, you know, you're working your insides, working your physicality, your body, that you have to have that humor sense to it, because if you don't, you know, it'd be kind of boring, and it would not be something that you would want to really commit and dedicate yourself to. So I love the fact that, you know, we do have to add some humor into our workouts, into our health and wellness, like even like making a recipe, and if you messed it up, you know, find the giggle in what you did, and maybe you created something new. But always try to find whatever pivot is going to still help you still have success, but not be so serious. I think sometimes moms and women in general take themselves too seriously. Like they have to be so perfect. Perfection has to be just so sometimes. And life is not perfect.
No, my 6-year-old, she'll remind me that she learns from her kindergarten teacher that perfect is boring. She always tells me, it's so cute.
That's adorable. I think everyone should embrace that. Perfect is boring. I love that.
Absolutely. We have some machinery going on in the background, so I do apologize for that. You know, yoga, I think, is a great way to segue into obviously self-care. And I just want to say to all the women out there, all our listeners, even men, that, you know, when you're on the airplane and they go through the different procedures, you know, put the air mask on yourself before helping anyone else. And I think yoga is a great aspect of that really can be gently kind of segued into your everyday life. And I am excited to check out your YouTube channel, and we will make sure that your information obviously gets put below the live of this video. So in closing, and Laura, you gave us some great tips. And one other thing though, and I know that you're in Southwest Florida, but are you still living in a tiny house?
Yes. Still.
All those shows on HGTV, and I just think that is so awesome. So Some of your classes from your tiny house?
No, that's too small.
I was
Yeah.
wondering.
I have a Facebook group as well for moms and mother entrepreneurs, and I'll do like, meditations or just quick stretches like we just did, something small. But I live really close to the beach. We live in a beautiful nature area, so I'll go outside and film, and the weather is always always good for that. So
That's wonderful.
yeah.
In closing on a Triumph Tuesday, I just kind of want to go around the circle here. What are we all triumphing over? I'm triumphing over maybe the kitchen sink later on. Carol, so you. What do you
I am triumphing over and actually celebrating that my phone is on the way. It's so funny, you don't realize how much you depend on that damn cell phone. And yeah, this is great because I can get Wi-Fi, no texting, no phone calls. It's been, I think, 6 days. And at some point, it was actually kind of nice not hearing the phone ring or the alerts come off. So it made me kind of obviously pivot from different ways of reaching out to people. And it was actually kind of a nice little break. So I'm triumphing over that. I made it through. Now let's just make sure that the Pony Express arrives and I get that down.
That's wonderful. Okay, Laura, you're next.
Amazing.
One tip you're going to triumph over.
This is for me so nice to connect with you too. I think this is what it, for me, it in the end, this is what it's about: connection and connecting with people and from heart to heart. And hearing your perspective gives me new insights and new ways of wording things. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
To have you on today. Thank you so much. And on that note, what is our audience triumphing over? If you'd like to share, put in the comments below this video. We would always love to hear from you. We have some exciting updates for you, so always check back often. I am reporting to you live from the media room. Wellness Diva 4.0, Janice, part of TwoSistas.
And I'm Carol Sue, AKA Naughty Boss Lady Canna, published author, ready to get some pickleball on and get my movement in. It won't be yoga, but it will be movement, I promise. And thank you again, Laura, so much. I will work on those stretches. I absolutely love them. But everyone out there, pay it forward, be kind to people. And remember, triumphing over something doesn't have to be huge. If you made your bed today and you haven't done that, that's a trap. We will see you tomorrow on Wellness Wednesday. Guys, have a great day.
Bye, everyone.